Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got videos today from Manhood.
Let's be honest. Marriage is officially the worst investment a man can make in 2026. We keep asking why men are staying single, but look at the actual cost-benefit analysis. He's expected to be the provider, the protector, and pay every single bill on time. And what does he get in return? A permanent roommate who's grumpy 6 days a week. We've reached a point where men are subsidizing a lifestyle for women who don't even like them. If a man ran his business the way he runs his marriage, he'd be bankrupt in a month. He's putting in 100% of the capital for a 1% return on intimacy if he's lucky. Since when did once a month become the standard for a high-performance partnership?
Once a month? Talking about like once a day.
Ladies, we can't demand traditional provision while offering zero traditional peace. Modern women want a CEO husband, but offer the attitude of a disgruntled middle manager. Why would a rational man sign a contract where he loses half his assets if she gets bored? It's not fear of commitment. It's a basic understanding of a bad trait. We've priced ourselves.
We're not stupid. We can read the contract. We understand it's one-sided.
Out of the market, and we're wondering why the buyers are leaving. If there's no peace, no intimacy, and no financial logic, what exactly is the benefit here?
We hear of a lot of men going overseas to find wives. We don't see a lot of foreign men coming to America to find wives.
We do not.
And that explains a lot.
Okay, another hot take, listen up. Why have a lot of men today given up? 1, feminism distorted polarity. Modern feminism encouraged women to act more masculine instead of honoring their true femininity. It's created confusion and competition instead of complementing one another.
True.
2, social media crushed everybody's confidence. Constant comparison to unrealistic wealth, bodies, lifestyle. This made average men feel invisible and defeated. 3, we've got a loss of masculine purpose. Traditional
that masculine purpose thing, I think, is probably the huge factor in the United States and a lot of countries now. Men don't have a goal anymore. That goal of that white picket fence, a home, wife and kids that love you, and a legacy, generational legacy, is not a tangible goal anymore for most men.
Masculine roles were demonized, but no healthy new models replaced them. Men were told to just be less, but not better. 4, we've got an addiction to escapism. Instead of building resilience, many checked out into gaming, porn, really just
shopping, Instagram,
endless distractions to avoid the difficulties of personal growth. 5, we've lost brotherhood and mentorship. Men used to grow through challenge and community. Now, most are isolated with no guidance, no standards, no accountability. And finally,
it's actually pretty hard to guide young men nowadays too. I try my best to reach down to young men and maybe give them some advice here and there. And I get people don't want unsolicited advice. I get that too. But when I see certain men struggle, young men struggling, and I just have conversations with them, it's just not the same as it used to be back in my day.
No accountability mindset.
Damn, I'm old. I just said it, guys. I just said back in my day.
It's easier to blame feminism, women, or society than to do the hard internal work to actually reclaim your power. Strong men and soft women both lost in this mess. We need to get both back.
Dating apps ruined it. It's allowed women to sleep with men they wouldn't have access to otherwise. Those same women think they can marry those men. Those men only want to sleep with those women below their league, not marry below their league.
Okay, I have a theory on why all the hottest girls are single and nobody's married yet. I figured it out. It's because before, hot women were a rare commodity. Now, everyone is just way too hot. It's easy for girls to get hot, right? And now it's like when you see a desirable, high-value man.
You guys see how easy they think they can make themselves hot? It's easy to be hot nowadays for women.
They have way too many options. And girls don't have options anymore. And it's so frustrating because it's like, people would kind of date in their lane, if you know what I mean. Before there was like fillers and Botox and hair and cute outfits and spray tans and all that stuff, people would date in their lane. Now, everyone's hot and no, men can't do any
All the things you talked about is still very prevalent now.
type of like plastic surgery or height surgery or whatever. And with women working and men working equal pay, that's also a rare thing. So, ladies, we need to figure out a way to make men suck again. Sorry, they do suck. That's my point. They do suck. We just need to even out the ratio here. We're too hot. Men need to catch up to us. You know what I mean?
Great.
Now men have to care about our looks and be hot.
Talk about delusion. Why don't you just stay single? You don't need to be in a relationship. You're a strong, independent woman.
Single focus is peace. Which then illuminated why when a woman interrupts a man doing what he's doing, why you guys are so furious and don't pretend you're not. You try to get a grip on it. Not only have we diminished your ability to be productive by interrupting you, we have disrupted your peace. So I've tried to talk to him like, if a man were meditating, you could hear him chanting. Really? Would you walk in on him to say that? Like, imagine that's what he's doing. A man focused, he's in a meditation of fixing the car, repairing the sprinklers, playing a game with his son. He's at peace. Leave him at peace. And if you can't, I'm sorry to interrupt. Be respectful of the impact
My girl.
you're having. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Her wisdom could heal society if it was
could.
applied. She is the men's whisperer.
Women give men a million reasons to look elsewhere. And trust me, it's rarely about looks, it's your attitude that drives him away.
100%.
You got it twisted.
100%.
You think just because you're beautiful, you're the goddess of the universe and he should just be lucky to breathe your air? Wake up. Beauty is common. Intimacy is a dime a dozen. It's free everywhere.
Yeah.
If you want to be a prize, you have to offer more than just your body. Because women are so emotional, it don't matter what you did all the way up until the moment she's mad. When she's mad, it don't matter what you did. She'll destroy everything because she didn't get her way in these 5 minutes.
Right.
We know.
This is what women do in relationships. And then
do.
they say, happy wife, happy
know.
life. That's narcissism to the 1000 degree.
Yeah.
But women don't think they're narcissists. Here's the hidden truth. Attraction dies where accountability is missing.
Yeah.
Beauty can't carry disrespect forever. High value men don't leave because of temptation. They leave because peace disappears and chaos becomes the norm. Standards aren't misogyny, they're self-respect.
Yeah.
And anyone threatened by that was never built for partnership anyway.
She is right.
100%.
Modern women need to learn quickly that the world doesn't revolve around them.
They only learn that in their late 40s and 50s when the world ignores them.
And that's why men are now protecting their peace.
Find a woman who is so selfless, who's a servant to your family, who's a servant to you, because at the end of the day, as you guys grow old and something happens, you're going to need someone who served you, who's selfless, who's going to serve you in these times of distress because life gets so difficult and hard. So find that woman, not who plays games, that's selfish and looking out for herself, who's a servant to you, and see, you know what I always say? See how somebody is to other people.
Yeah.
How does somebody always look at how when you're going on a date and stuff, how they're acting to other people.
That's such a great-
Even like to waiters and things like that. Are they serving others? Are they
I do admit how people treat wait staff is a big tell of how they view themselves and view others.
selfless? A selfless heart is the first thing that you should be looking for in a woman. And if you are someone who's sitting there being like, man, I feel a little selfish in my heart, that's okay.
Yeah.
We all go through these seasons of selfishness. And that's why when you start your relationship with, like me and Angela always talk about how he is just breaking things off of us.
That's like asking the moon to turn purple and shit to turn gold. Not going to happen, at least in this century.
True.
just going to talk about this comment that was left on one of my videos, and there's quite a few men that leave similar comments to this, and this proclamation that, you know, this is why men are staying single. And this is obviously not all men, but there is a reason why men do this. And the reason that men say I'm staying single, which in other terms basically means I'm also willing to have a string of hookups that mean nothing to get my own needs satisfied, is that the reason that they do this is because they are not willing to face themselves. Any man that says, you know, I'm staying single is because they do not want to be in a situation that is causing them to face parts of themselves that have been denied, that have been repressed, where they are not taking accountability for the way that they show up in relationships. And obviously,
it's just so funny how these women, like, all of a sudden turn into some kind of major therapist, as if they've been to school this whole time to understand human feelings and how humans work and stuff. Just how they talk. Like, they use all these big buzzwords and how men do this and that, but they don't even understand themselves. But yet they understand men so well.
if they're not in relationship or opening themselves up to the right person, they're not going to have this mirroring. And so by isolating and saying, you know, this is why men are staying single, it's just basically another way of saying, I don't want to face myself. Because unfortunately in Western society and sort of in the modern world, men are becoming apathetic, they're becoming more feminized. And when wounded feminine energy shows up in men, it causes them to lack accountability, to not want to take responsibility.
Oh, feminine energy gives you the lack of accountability? Oh, I wonder who has most of that.
To be flighty, to not commit to things, which is automatically a massive turn off to women that are in a healed feminine energy. And so the sorts of women that they would actually, you know, thrive in relationship with, they're not attracting anyway, because they're not opening themselves up to the possibility that actually they're the ones that are responsible for the type of women that they're actually pulling in the first place.
And she truly believes all of what she's saying, as she is like some expert that figured all of this out through her own, you know, meticulous research.
And so it becomes this vicious cycle. But when men say, you know, that they're staying single as an act of, you know, trying to control their circumstances, the reality is underneath that they're feeling very much out of control. And because,
but yeah, let's see if a woman says the exact same thing. This is why women are staying single. Would you use that same bravado?
Because they don't have a language for communicating, you know, what's going on underneath, because no man that is in a healed masculine energy is going to make this proclamation and decide that he's going to be single for the rest of his life. Because when you look at the way that obviously masculine energy thrives in life, it is to build, it's to continuously have something to move towards, to build some sort of legacy for self, and to feel as if they're creating a foundation, you know, and building something. And so when you're saying, you know, I'm cutting off my own growth, which is obviously what comes from being in a relationship anyway, they're automatically showcasing they're not actually in their masculine. Because to get to the end of your life and basically look back and say, you know, I worked a job that was okay, that paid the bills, sat on my own money so I didn't have to pay anything, you know, for women, and, you know, got to the end of my life with a string of hookups. You look back at that as a legacy for a male, and the level of regret that would come with that is not going to feel good. So if a man makes this proclamation, then this is what he really means. And emotional fulfillment in life comes from the depth of intimacy we have with our partners, with the people that are closest to us. And when we cut ourselves off from that and the possibility of exploring that, we don't live an emotionally fulfilling life. We live a life that's filled with surface level distractions, surface level projections that don't actually lean into anything of depth. And so when a man says this, he's likely very much in his feminine, in an apathetic energy where he doesn't want to commit to things. And so within a relationship,
again, just psychology buzzwords,
he's not going to take accountability. This is obviously very different for a man that chooses to stay single until the right person comes along and works on himself in the meantime. This is an attribute of a healthy masculine male, and
which is the exact same thing, by the way. Men are staying alone, single because of this. could be because, yeah, we were waiting for the right thing.
A man that's able to concentrate and focus his energy in such a way that's actually going to be really supportive and conducive once the right partner shows up, or once he's ready to take that step with the right partner. And this is the sort of dynamic and mentality that actually breeds and calls in soul connection as well, because the man is anchored into his masculine energy as opposed to dismissing the concept of relationship altogether, which is naturally a byproduct.
I bet you every single comment in the comment section, slay queen, you are so right.
Being very wounded. And soul connection in and of itself can only come in when you are truly connected to yourself, whether you're male or female. So if you don't have a deep understanding of, your own psyche, the way that you operate, of your own triggers, where you're not taking accountability and reconciling that internally, you're not actually in a position to attract in what would be like a deep soul connection anyway. So all of these things are interconnected. They all play into one another. But the difference is that when you are connected to self, you see the mirroring and the divinity in others. When you are not connected to yourself, you see through the eyes of separation, of somebody else wanting to take from you, as opposed to being with an open and generous heart that actually allows you to feel the fullness of what a relationship can actually bring for you.
So lack of accountability is feminine. Well, that certainly explains a lot about this video. They are deciding what we mean now, too.
Right.
And no, we are not trying to control anything.
We're not.
We just want some peace. It would serve the discussion.
It's like that projection that she was just rambling on about that I kind of checked out halfway through was literally projection.
Better to ask men what and why instead of telling everyone what you think about it. Actually try to understand their perspective.
This movement is one of the biggest reasons for the divorce rate, because
100%.
women have become so masculine. Woman gets in her masculine energy. A lot of times she'll be disrespectful to her husband. And men don't do well with disrespect. There's surveys that say that 80% of men...
It's funny because back in the day, women were taught this. Don't disrespect men. Men do not take it kindly. But that has been thrown out the window. Women are not taught this anymore.
Say they would rather be alone and unloved than to be disrespected. And see, the feminist movement has taken it so far over the years to, it's not just equal rights anymore. Now it's men are being diminished and devalued and demoralized. What do we need men for? We don't need men. We can buy our own cars and we can vote. We can make our own money, run our own businesses. We can even have babies without men. And that makes men feel awful. A man doesn't feel he has anything to contribute to that woman's life. He's got to move on down the road.
Women weren't meant to be masculine.
Nope.
They were meant to find a man she can trust, love, and take care of. But that's not the motto nowadays anymore, sadly.
I'm a 34-year-old guy, and honestly, the reason I've basically stopped dating is because the performance pressure is just getting insane. And I don't just mean on dates, I mean in bed too. It feels like from the second I match with someone, I have to prove I'm emotionally intelligent, confident, successful, funny, stable, but also vulnerable. And by the time I actually get to the date, I'm already in my head. Then when it comes to sex, the pressure is even worse. I'm always worried I won't last long enough, or stay hard, or that...
This is the part where I have to tell men, just keep doing it. Keep doing it, keep failing, get better at it. You really aren't going to get better without experience. So, yes, you are always questioning a lot of these things, but if you really want relationships and you really want things, you gotta have to get over it. You gotta believe in yourself and be a little more confident in your own abilities. And if they don't like you, they don't like you. That's it. If they don't like you because you didn't prove yourself or you didn't do well in bed or whatever it is, then you just move on. Like, that's where I want to tell men, you have the ability to move on. It's okay if they reject you.
That I just won't be good in the way she expects. It's gotten to the point where I'm so anxious about disappointing someone that I avoid getting close at all.
Men are burned out from all the dating drama.
They do.
That's us, all over. Spot on. Way easier to not bother anymore now.
You want to know why men over 40 are staying single? I'll tell you why. Because society raised women to be wives to careers, not husbands. And now the men who were once overlooked are watching rebellion unfold and choosing peace over chaos. These ain't excuses. These are the raw, unfiltered reasons men are walking away from modern women, and many of them don't plan on looking back. You better watch.
I see it in the comment section. I literally do. A lot of you guys comment, MGTOW for life, never going back. And I don't hate on you guys for it. I support you. Protect yourselves.
Watch this all the way through, or keep wondering why that good man ain't calling you back. Let's set the record straight. This ain't about men being bitter. This ain't about men being weak. This is about men getting wise, men getting structure, and men finally realizing what marriage has turned into and what it costs when you choose a woman who ain't built for submission, peace, or purpose. And if you're one of those women thinking, well, maybe he just can't handle a strong woman, sit tight. You're about to find out he didn't lose interest. He gained clarity. First reason, divorce destroys a man's life.
Hell yeah.
Older men have seen it too many times. Good men getting gutted in court.
Like, there's even young men now that are getting divorced, like at 22, 24.
He loses his house, he loses his pension, his legacy, and she walks away with half his world for bringing nothing but attitude to the table. Why would any man jump into a legal system designed to reward rebellion and punish masculinity?
There's no point. All risk, no reward. Stay single, get a dog, travel, and stay happy without a woman.
As a man begins to improve his life, he necessarily begins to make good use of his solitude. He uses this time for deep focus and personal development. Undistracted, he can build his business and take care of his body and invest in his own well-being. This isn't simply about becoming materially successful, though obviously that doesn't hurt. There are still plenty of men who dive into work the way low-value men dive into women. That is, as escapes from themselves.
Makes sense.
But the more a man begins to value his own presence, the more he enjoys his own company, the more valuable his solitude becomes. And this raises the bar with respect to the women he invites into his life. In short,
quick translation. Rather live in peace than in chaos in a house with a woman. Outside in the desert with peace.
Spending time with them has to be better than spending time with himself, because he knows what he can accomplish when left to his own devices. This process generally follows a fairly predictable progression. As a man first comes to tolerate his own company, as he cleans up his critical inner voice and destructive tendencies, so that there is little negative about his experience of self, he naturally begins to eschew disrespect and game playing and flakiness and drama. This, and only this, is what truly gatekeeps, is what keeps low-value women out of a man's life.
Damn right.
It's not therapy, per se. It's not appropriate boundaries, which, like New Year's resolutions, work until they don't. It's a preference for his own uncomplicated company that effortlessly keeps certain women out of his ambit. It is
peace is worth more than chaos, worth more than anything else. We'd rather keep our peace than deal with nagging women.
The quality of his relationship with himself that largely determines the quality of the women with whom he relates.
Spot on truth.
Damn right.
We'd rather be alone and happy than deal with someone else's insecurities and toxicity.
Because it looks like these Gen Z boys have it figured out. The age of chasing is over, guys. Modern men are no longer confused, and they're no longer scared. They're simply not playing the game anymore. Modern men are done performing for disinterest. Today, when a woman tells him no, a man who respects himself says, okay, and he leaves her alone. No arguing, no convincing, no follow-ups, no orbiting, no friendship code. But here's the issue women didn't anticipate. Those men, they never come back. They don't linger, they don't check in, they don't wait for a mood change.
Like, in my comment section, literally most of my comments is you guys saying MGTOW for life, never coming back, never dating women again.
They simply move on as though nothing happened. Because modern men have finally asked the obvious question about dating here in 2026. And that question is, why chase someone who is running away? Chasing assumes resistance. Resistance assumes lack of desire, and lack of desire is a dead end. Attraction that needs persuasion was never attraction to begin with. Over the past few years, men have realized something very critical. If she really wants you, she makes it easy. If she doesn't want you, no amount of effort will magically convert indifference into desire. So men have stopped chasing, not out of bitterness, but out of efficiency. Men have stopped proving. They've stopped auditioning. They've stopped trying to earn interest. These guys now operate on one simple rule: interest first, investment second. Anything else is just bad math as far as they're concerned. And this is why women are shocked, bitter, and pissed. Not because men disappeared, but because men learned to walk away quietly. No drama, no ego battles, no speeches, just absence. And
we always say it, the quiet man's winning.
Absence hurts more than any chase ever did. But like I said before, the age of chasing is over. It's either mutual interest or it's nothing. This isn't weakness, gentlemen. This is evolution. And if you want to continue to evolve in today's
The younger generation of men are realizing that the game is over for the younger generation of women, and they refuse to play the game.
No, it's good that young men are listening. You know, as when I was a young man, I probably didn't take advice from the older generation as much as I should have. But it seems like the younger generation now is taking advice from the older generation, or they just have so much resource. I think the resource of the internet, YouTube, videos like this gives men a little bit more access to a lot more knowledge nowadays. So it's good on young men to protect themselves. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And see you guys next time. Ciao.